Lockport did a lot for me, man, and I always say like they did a phenomenal job preparing me for college, and not just the coaches, but the teachers. Always, it was fun. Like I just had fun at Lockport. The coaches, that's the biggest thing for me to put me in my position. Every coach that I came across, whether it was in track or football, was a lesson for me. I learned a lot from every coach that I've had, and mainly though, I would just say that the coaches, the culture in general prepared me to be this athlete. I feel like we build champions at Lockport, and champions not only during when you're in high school, but champions for the rest of your life, man, whether it's in sports or anything. And I'm just so thankful to be able to graduate from Lockport and go through the experiences and the sports that I had there as well. So, I mean, I always have Porter pride, and it means everything to me.
You are listening to the Porter Pridecast, your home for the Lockport Porters on the airwaves. If you're looking for all the latest news and behind-the-scenes conversations about Lockport Township High School, then you're in the right place. Welcome into the Porter Pridecast. No one talks Porters like we talk Porters.
Welcome to the Porter Pridecast, episode number 22. I'm one of your hosts, Brett Hespel, Lockport Township High School, joined by our other host, Adam DeCare, also of Lockport Township High School. But if you're watching on YouTube, you're wondering if he is from the University of Michigan, because that's all you see, him in his Michigan shirt with his Michigan flags behind him. But I assure you, folks, he is from Lockport Township High School. And we are back for episode 22. What's up, DeCare?
Not too much. Yeah, usually it's the green room when you're recording. This is the blue room, so go blue. Doing good. How was the Hespel holidays here?
It was good. Santa Claus did a good job. We got some good stuff there. Kids had a fun time. A little low key, but it's Christmas in 2020. We are recording this. You're getting ready to launch this episode right here, right before the new year of 2021. So it's late December 2020. So Christmas, was good. How about you guys?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Santa was good to the kids. Very low key. We just finished up quarantine today, so it was kind of nice just to not have to do all the hustle of the holidays. Jumping from family to family, just kind of lay low and enjoy our own company. But yeah, it was good. Didn't get to go on a fancy tour of Chicago like another family I know. See the Airness and Home Alone. So closest we got to that was on the television.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did travel afar. We took a little voyage up to Michael Jordan's stomping grounds and then the Home Alone house. And then my son Brendan wanted to see Northwestern. So we drove by and tried to get into that beautiful indoor football facility, but when I rang Pat Fitzgerald's doorbell, he didn't answer. So we had to look at it from the outside. But, yeah, that's the extent of our travels. It was exotic. We went to the beach.
Yeah, I hear Lake Michigan's beautiful this time of year. Little quick swim.
It is.
Polar plunge.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No. Polar plunges. So,
well, yeah. Here we are, last episode of 2020, the inaugural year of the Porter Pridecast.
Crazy.
Just absolutely
rolling along.
Just rolling along. Got big plans for next year, but this is an episode I've been looking forward to doing. So we're, as promised, we've talked about it and finally getting back to it. But this is our second featured episode of our Decade series, the Best of Decade series. If you are a loyal listener, which we all know you are.
Yes.
If you're 22 deep here with us, but all the way back to episode 7 in the summer, we featured the Lockport football program and highlighted the team of the decade. So from 2010 to 2020, we wrap up this decade here. and also the athlete of the decade. So, we had Billy Reed on, was the athlete football player of the decade, and then we had Tommy Hook on to talk about the 2011 Lockport Porter playoff team. So that was obviously a great episode for obviously me for being a football coach and being part of that, but also you coach both Tommy and Billy in basketball. So I've been really looking forward to getting back to this.
Go back and listen to episode 7. It's a long one, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a two-parter, but it's definitely worth your time. But yeah, we've got a couple of these in the works. Obviously, this episode we're going to focus on the boys track and field. Their decade here coming up. But this is a great way to talk about some Lockport history, hear from some Lockport legends. Not quite sure who we're going to hear from, for this episode. It's kind of hot down here too. I don't know who we're gonna. I don't want to give away any names or anything, but obviously a lot of success from the track and field program. So a lot of choices coming up here for athlete of the decade, as well as the team. So luckily for us, not only do I have a great co-host of this show, but we also have a member of the staff. I don't know how that worked out, where the first decade episode, I coached football. Wow, I had extensive knowledge inside the program, in-depth analysis, and now we have the same for the boys track and field team. So
I think I can figure a couple reasons why it worked out that way.
Just purely coincidental. But yeah, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the team of the decade, and then our athlete of the decade for boys track and field.
Yeah, so the research department went above and beyond. I got a page of notes here.
They're looking for a raise coming for the new year, holiday bonus.
Well, I think it's going to be like Clark Griswold on Christmas vacation. We might get a Jelly of the Month Club membership or something. So anyway, it was quite a decade for the boys track and field team. Let's see here. In the decade, there were 18 all-state performers and 5 all-state relays from this decade. All-state in track and field is top 9 in the state in your event in Class 3A. So top 9, 18 all-state, 18 top 9 performers and 5 all-state relays finished in the top 9.
Jeez.
The team finished sectional runners-up. So second place in the sectional in, get this, 2013, and then 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. We finished second place in the sectional. So either that's really, really good, which of course it is, or it's tough to swallow because that's 6 out of 7 years we were runner-up. In 2012, we were sectional champions. So that's a great run there from 2012 through 2019.
I see what you did there. Great run.
Ah, yes. I didn't even realize that one. That is a good one. If you're listening, Mike Zaworski, that's for you. But that's 6 sectional runner-ups and a sectional champion out of the 10 years in the decade. The team finished 16th in the state in 2017, 6th in the state in 2018, and 12th in the state in 2019. And then, of course, we're here to talk about the team of the decade, the 2016 team, which also finished 6th place in the state, highest finish by a LTHS boys track and field team. So the 2016 team is who we're here to talk about. So let me give you a few things before we get our guests on here. Our team was the sectional runner-up to a powerhouse Sandburg Eagles team. There were 5 sectional champions: the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, shot put, pole vault, and 4x200-meter relay. 2 of those individuals are going to join us. Well, I guess we should announce the athlete of the decade. You want to do the honors?
I mean, it's pretty obvious here.
He does
My
have his
man,
Michigan gear on.
Michigan Wolverine representing John Meyer, the big man. Can't wait to talk to him. Straight from Ann Arbor.
Straight from Ann Arbor. So he is our athlete of the decade. We'll get into
Great job, John. Go Blue.
We'll get into his accolades in a minute. And then a close second place. And, I mean, for almost any school in any sport in the state of Illinois, this guy would be hands down their athlete of the decade. Unfortunately, well, I guess not unfortunately, but he happened to coincide with a 3-time state champion. So our runner-up for athlete of the decade, who's also going to join us. Go ahead, Dekar.
Derrius Rodgers.
As he shows his Texas Tech shirt.
Red Raiders, baby.
So Derrius is also joining us. So 5 sectional champions in that 2016 team. Derrius in the 100 and 200. John Meyer in the shot put. Wade Walder, super awesome story. We should have him on one day. He went on to Butler and became an NCAA Division I All-American in the decathlon. He was sectional champion in the pole vault. He's an unbelievable story.
So yeah,
we should have
my Butler shirt's across the room. I can't grab it quickly.
Well, he's at Michigan State. Do you have one of those shirts?
I do have a Michigan State hoodie.
See, I've seen that. So Wade was sectional champion in the pole vault, and then the 4x200 relay, which had Derrius on it, and then also Chris Gargano, Sheldon Snap, and Jesse Bustami. There were 9 state qualifiers. All the guys I just mentioned that were sectional champions, and then Jesse Bustami in the long jump, John Meyer in the discus throw, big Matt Shimilewski in the shot put. Matt Shim went on to SIU to play football, finishing up his career there. And then the 4x100 meter relay also qualified for state. We should also mention Chris Gargano went to Carthage College to run track. So great, talented team.
Speed camp alum right there, Chris.
There you go. Speed camp alum. 13 all sectional performances. Besides those guys, we also had Emmanuel Amagacher in the 110 meter hurdles.
Big Manny.
Jake Fries in the 300 meter hurdles. Andrew Novak in the pole vault. And Connor McCarthy in the triple jump. Connor McCarthy did not graduate that year. He was a couple years later, but he is now at SIU Edwardsville jumping for them. So another Division I athlete. Team finished 6th place in the state of Illinois. 30 points scored. 30-point total would probably put you top 4 almost any year except for 2016 because our program is snake bitten, and it was like a powerhouse year that year. John Meyer was the state champion in the shot put, the throw of 61 feet 2 inches. Derrius Rodgers was the state runner-up in both the 100-meter dash and the 200-meter dash, and the 4x200 meter relay finished in 6th place. We ended up with 5 school records that year. Derrius Rodgers in the 100 and 200 at 10.60 and 21.42 seconds. John Meyer in the discus, 189 feet 11 inches. And then John Meyer in the shot put, who went on his senior year to set the state of Illinois record at 70 feet 6.5 inches, breaking the state record by 4 feet or something crazy like that. And then the 4x200 relay also was the school record holder that season. So it was an incredible season. The team was deep. It was consistent. We had star power. And it was a really good year. And we thought we had a great shot to go down and get a state trophy. The top 3 teams get a state trophy. But like I mentioned, there were a couple powerhouse teams that year, including Sandburg, of course, happened to be in our conference and our sectional. Thanks, Sandburg. And then, it was like we had 30 points, and then I think 5th place was 31 points, and I think 4th place was 32 points. And then there was the top 3 teams a little bit above that. So it was a kind of an anomaly of a year. Otherwise, we would have had a chance to be in the top 4. But it was a great team, great season, and just some unbelievable athletes. Like that list right there for 95% of track and field teams in the state would be your all-time. Well, I mean, shoot, no one else has had a John Meyer ever. So you got him, and then you've got all-time guys in some of these categories. And we've just had an incredible decade. And it's been a pleasure to be a part of that program all decade long. So this will be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's number one, impressive research by the department there to come up with all those stats. But obviously just speaks to the success that, the track and field program has had, not just this decade, but for forever. You talk about some of that star power and some of those records and just some of those places. It just it makes sense, and obviously, like you said, John Meyer is obviously incredible athlete, but any other time Derrius could be a shoe-in for athlete of the decade. So nice to have, many choices. Not every program could have multiple athletes who could fit that description. So,
well, I think before we bring these guys on, we should mention that the head coach of boys track, Mr. Tom Razo, teaches PE at Lockport, has been the boys track coach for over 30 years now. And I mean, this guy has had a run. He's going to be a Hall of Famer when he retires in the Illinois track and cross country community, because he's won state trophies in cross country as a team. He's had he's coached multiple state champions in track. Obviously, John, 3 times in the shot put, but he's had Kyle Engnell, who went to University of Illinois to run, Nick Setta, who went to Notre Dame. He's had some unbelievable relays. He has had an unbelievable number of all-state performances. And when you look at our school record board in our sport, it dwarfs almost everybody else's school record board. And a lot of that is due to Coach Razo's influence the last 30 years. So he's a legend. And we got these 2 legends coming on. We can't bring all the legends on. So
Razo had his time to shine on episode 6. So
he did. Well, I'm sure he'll be back one day.
Yeah. We'll get him on for his Hall of Fame induction.
Well, yeah, there you go. But we should mention him because he's had an incredible career. So, I mean, he's the catalyst that makes everything go. And talk about someone who knows the sport and loves track and field. There's your guy. I know you know Razo, so. But he's just a remarkable career as a coach. We also should mention Coach Wally Shields, who we're going to touch on. He's going to join John when he comes on. But Wally Shields was assistant. Illinois Track and Coaches Association names an assistant coach of the year. And he was assistant coach of the year in 2018, mainly for his, accolades for working with John. But he's had incredible number of throwers go downstate. So, I mean, he's an awesome coach too. So those guys deserve a lot of credit. Of course, our main man, Robert Beach, who used to teach with us, was a sprint coach for most of this decade. And he did an incredible job with guys like Derrius. And then more recently, guys like Mike Walkos, who are at Dartmouth, and Kyle Langelier, who's at Illinois State. So got to throw him in there too. So got to give those coaches their love. Well, what do you think? Should we get these interviews going?
Yeah, let's bring him on.
All right, let's bring on our athlete of the decade, John Meyer. So, Mr. DeCare, without further ado, we need to announce our vote, because our vote's what matters, especially on this show. It's all that matters. Our vote for the athlete of the decade for boys track and field at Lockport High School. And this really is probably one of the easier ones to vote on. And that's the man himself, John Meyer, who is here joining us. John, good to see you. How you doing?
Thank you. Good to see you too.
I see that DeCare, being the Michigan diehard he is, wore his Michigan gear for this interview.
It just so happened I was wearing this today. I didn't know we were going to have on a Michigan man himself, so it kind of worked out nicely.
Yeah. The guy's cheesy. What can I say? But so before we fire away and talk to you a little bit, we're also joined by assistant track and field coach for the throws, Mr. Wally Shields. Coach Shields, good to have you on here. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to introduce both of these guys to Care, and then I'll let you fire away with the first question for anyone. All these wonderful viewers of the podcast who might not know all about these two. So let's start with John. John Meyer, class of 2018. John was a record setter at LTHS. He graduated as school record holder in both the discus throw at 189 feet 11 inches and the shot put at 70 feet 6.5 inches. He was a 3-time state champion in the shot put, as well as 3-time all-stater in the discus throw. John owns the IHSA overall state record, as well as the IHSA state meet record in the shot put. So best shot put thrower in the history of Illinois is with us right now. As a senior at LTHS, he was the national leader in the indoor shot put and finished as number 2 in the nation in the outdoor shot put, while also being ranked 6th in the world for the under 20 in the shot put that season. 6th in the world, in the world. John now attends the University of Michigan, as you can see behind him right there, where he set a new freshman indoor record in the shot put last season. He redshirted his outdoor season, and this year, as a sophomore, finished 4th in the Big Ten in the shot put indoors before COVID-19 shut down the outdoor track season. So there you go. John Meyer, welcome to the show. Coach, you are welcome. Thank you for being here because you're the star. Coach Shields here, just real briefly, he has had two stints, Coach, as a LTHS throws coach.
That is correct.
The brief hiatus in the middle where he coached at Lewis University. Coach Shields has had numerous state qualifiers. I didn't go back to count them all. It's quite a few. He threw collegiately at Purdue, and in 2019, the Illinois Track and Cross Country Coaches Association named Coach Shields the Assistant Coach of the Year in the state of Illinois. So, also a distinguished guest that we have with us, Coach Shields. Thank you for being here as well.
All right, well, thanks for having us.
DeCare, the Decade Series, baby. We got the Athlete of the Decade. We got the Assistant Coach of the Decade.
Yeah.
We got fire away.
Talk about two resumes of the decade right there, yeah.
Nobody's shaved. It's great. We all looking great.
That's right. I did get a haircut, first COVID haircut, though. So.
And it looks great.
That was going to be my first question.
I'm sure it was. DeCare, fire away for John or Coach Shields, and let's start talking about Porter Track and Field in this great decade we had.
Well, yeah, obviously, again, thank you for both you taking some time out of your night here to come talk to us, and just awesome to hear those accolades and all the success, not only of John at Lockport, but also that continued success at now the prestigious University of Michigan, and then Coach Shields, obviously, the athletes you've coached and the success that you've helped, them succeed in speaks to themselves, but also your personal success. So hats off to both of you. John, just, hearing that impressive resume of accomplishments Coach Hessel just read off, just talk to us a little bit. What was it like, to be a 3-time state champion? Most kids would give anything to win 1, but let alone 3 in high school. Just kind of talk to us a little bit about your career in general and what that was like going through.
Oh man, it wouldn't have been done without Wally for sure. Going into sophomore year, we changed a bit of my technique. So if you're unfamiliar with shot play, we have the glide, which is pretty much where you're kicking your leg straight back, and then the spin, which describes itself. You're spinning in the ring. And we toyed around with the spin and made huge jumps in improvement. Everything just took off sophomore year, going into outdoor season. And we just kept working so hard, and it just kept improving. There wasn't any, we didn't really have any fallbacks other than junior year, having a small muscle strain in my pec. But I think it's unreal for me. But, we worked so hard for those 3 state champions. Well, I think without Coach Shields, I don't even think there would have been a state, title in my name. So.
Well, so I coach track also, so I got a first, front row seat here. But let's, so your freshman year, you went downstate in just the discus, correct?
Yeah. Well, coming in to high school, I thought I was going to be more of a discus kind of guy. really don't know how the shot took off. I think I just got so much stronger in the weight room as well. And I was still gliding my freshman year. Coach, you remember my mark freshman year?
Well, I think you threw 50 feet 8 in the high school season, and then you threw 52.2 in USATF over the summer.
And honestly, I think I was extremely happy to hit 50 my freshman year. I think my overall goal coming in was to hit 60, and I topped that by 10 feet. So I think that's pretty awesome.
So just a little context for the people that are not track people.
Mm-hmm.
So the previous school record holder in the shot put was Tony Pashos, right, Coach Shields?
Correct.
Who Coach Shields also coached. And Tony went on and played for what, did you 5 NFL teams? 4 NFL teams?
Yep, 5.
I think 11 years he played.
Yeah, so I mean, great athlete, like elite athlete. And his school record was like 59 feet something, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 59 3 3/4.
59 3 3/4. So then I still remember when John was a sophomore, it was early in the outdoor season. I think we were at HF maybe. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. When he popped his first like huge one, and it was what, 63 feet?
That was the start.
Yeah. So like that's kind of when I just remember like being over on the track working with our guys, and then people were like, John just threw 63 feet. And we were like, whoa. You said, well, how far? You know, like, because I mean, that's 4 feet farther than an NFL guy threw. So that just puts it in a little context. So Coach Shields, anything about that little moment right there stand out to you? Maybe moving into that. I'm sure you had some sort of idea that a big throw is coming, but like, what do you remember about that?
Well, he John had just that week gone to the spin full time, so we knew that he was going to throw far. But that throw for that meet was an outlier. It was just like everything came together, and he had won the meet. And I think he had thrown like 59 feet before that, which was still a 3-foot improvement over his glide PR. So we would have been happy with that. But and I still remember he like started his throw and he kind of slipped. So he stopped and reset, and then he just took off. And I think everyone was shocked at how far he threw it. And I just remember that, that throw just put him on the map. And I told him it was funny because we came to practice on Monday. I go, John, I'm telling you right now that every other thrower in the state is looking at that mark and going, oh, that's a miss mark. He threw 53 feet. He didn't really throw 63 feet. So I said, well, our job, your job for this year is to make sure that it's not a fluke. And I think his worst throw for the rest of the year was like 59-10 in a meet. He had every other meet was over 60 feet. And, so the next meet he came out and threw 62 feet, and then he threw 62 feet. And that was the one thing that I think, besides obviously the distances, the thing that stood out about John's career is just his consistency. He just never had a really bad meet ever in 3 years. I mean, he had like his junior indoor, I think he had kind of one bad meet, but that's when he was still playing basketball, and it was like he was just coming off of basketball. But I mean, once he got going, it was, good meet, and especially his senior year. Yeah. I think other than the first meet indoor and the first meet outdoor, every other meet his senior year, he threw further than the existing all-time state best before him. So that just tells you how consistent he was.
Yeah, obviously talking about all the successes with the records and the state championships, what would you say was the biggest challenge for you in your high school career? Was it pressure? Did you feel any pressure from either within yourself or from outside sources to repeat or to do it again? Or was it just kind of, I'm going to take it a season at a time? Like, what did you find yourself challenged the most with, despite all the successes that you had?
I honestly think the most challenging, talking about like my sophomore year, coach told me in practice, I expect you to win state this year. And that has me crapping my pants. Oh, why'd you say that, coach? but he was right. And every meet, I mean, I tried to PR, and I don't think I didn't surpass 63 at all that year, but I kept so consistent to the point where at state, I think I won with 60, 62.
60, 61 something. But remember, that was the odd year in state
Yeah,
where
that
you
was
had
the
to throw
oddball.
the first day indoor, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't raining because there was forecast
Yeah.
for. And that was another thing where just having that consistency. He had never spun on an indoor ring. So, and I just remember John's dad being really nervous.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's never spun on an indoor ring. And I'm like, oh, don't worry. He's good. He knows how to spin.
I was walking to the bathroom every 5 minutes. I remember that day.
So, yeah, it was a very – but it, you know, like I said, he came through as always. So,
Yeah.
And then we had Epinesa breathing down my neck because he hit 62. Or
yeah, 60 feet, yeah.
All right. I think I threw 61 on my third throw or something like that, and then I didn't improve on that. But
Right. Well, I don't think anybody the next day they went outdoor, and you know, it's the second day at state is always tough because you're not used to throwing 2 day, you know, shot 2 days in a row and disc 2 days in a row. So I still think you still had the best throw on the Saturday as well on the outdoor portion of the meet, but it wasn't further than your 61. I think 61.3, I think, is what you threw indoor to win the first state title.
And I mean, you just mentioned, you know, you actually kind of coincided with another great thrower in Illinois history, AJ Epinesa, who was just drafted. Was he just drafted? Played for Iowa, football for Iowa. I think he was just drafted, right, in like the second or third round or something.
Yeah, it was early in the second round.
Yeah. So I mean, another great guy, you know, to compete against. What John? What would you say? Let's talk about competition in general. What kind of advice would you have for kids that are trying to learn how to compete at a high level? How would you help? What advice would you give kids who are in that kind of realm right now that are searching for? They work hard and stuff like that, but sometimes it doesn't come together in whatever competition they're doing. What advice would you pass along?
I think since coming from me, since I changed my technique, try to experiment with some different things. And if something doesn't work, go back and then try another thing else. And also trusting your coach. That's a really huge one. Everyone's going to say work your hardest. I mean, cliche, but trust your coach. Yeah. Because even if he doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing, you still have that confidence in, again, working your hardest. But trusting your coach is very important, as I learned in college too. Sometimes we're doing these weird drills, and I don't know what this has to do with throwing, but you know, he's like the wizard at Michigan. He knows what he's doing. So trust in your coach and just experiment with different things and try to get as much information as you can from others. We got YouTube now. You can look up drills and whatnot. Just eat up all the information you can.
Coach, obviously, you mentioned Tony Pashos, another athlete that you coach, obviously the success he's had at University of Illinois and then in the NFL. So you've coached a lot of greats, kind of put you on the spot here. What is it about John that made him so special in your opinion? I know the work ethic. I know we used to do throwing in the off season for football on Sunday mornings, and you guys would be outside, just didn't matter. You guys were always working. So what was it about John you think it made him so special?
Well, obviously that, he's got great physical talent, but like you said, the work ethic, and then also just all the really good throwers that I've had have really believed in themselves. You know what I mean? And you have to believe that you can get better, and you're gonna, and you can't be satisfied. I mean, John could have been satisfied, with 2 state titles or just being good, and he wasn't satisfied with that. He wanted to be great. And Tony was the same way. I only worked with Tony for 1 year, but he got third in the state coming from the year before. He didn't even qualify for state, but he worked super hard and just kept getting better. And I think that's what I notice about the best guys, other than just the talent and the hard work, is just the belief in themselves and the ability to just go, okay, I got to get better.
John, I know DeCare's dying to hear what it's like to be an athlete at Michigan. So let's talk a little bit about in the Big Ten, in a great, I mean, obviously the Big Ten is great at everything, at a premier university in the country for lots of different areas. So just let DeCare know what it actually is like to be a Michigan student, a Michigan athlete, a Michigan Wolverine, period.
Yeah, they wouldn't take me. They wouldn't let me in Ann Arbor for some reason.
I mean, they've got all the resources you can ask for. Main one for me is food. We've got the food resources. They got, we go get breakfast in the morning. Go pick up some sandwiches. It says limit 1, I take 2. We have great academic resources. I mean, everyone's out to get everyone's out to help you there. I mean, it's a great experience. I don't think I could go wrong anywhere else. I think Michigan's the place to be.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the Big Ten. All the athletes have the resources, and I think it's just great that Michigan has it readily available for you, just like that.
And that new indoor track has got to be amazing.
Yeah, it's it's a hike for us to get all the way in the back to go throw. Not really a hike, I'm just saying, because, I'm a thrower. I don't like walking. Yeah, it's awesome. We got so many different things to use there. Everyone's around each other. It's cool, too, because when you come out I don't know if you've seen the layout of it.
I have a little bit.
We see the whole track, so we're kind of on a balcony up there, and it's pretty cool.
DeCare, you got any burning Michigan Wolverine questions for him?
Yeah, I just have to know, have you had the pleasure or hopefully pleasure of meeting Coach Harbaugh?
I've not.
Oh.
I know a few of his players, though, but I've had classes with who was our quarterback? My mind's melted now.
Yeah, it's been like months since you've been there, so.
If you can give me his phone number, I have a couple suggestions that might help.
I'm sure
turn
you
that
do.
program around. Maybe some sideline passes. If I could just get in his ear,
Yeah.
I'll put some khakis on. I'll dress
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
All right, so John, one last question here, and then we'll let you go. This is the Porter Pridecast, so we always want to talk about Porter Pride. So when you look back on your time as a Porter, what kinds of things stand out? What, I don't know, memories or just, what does Porter Pride mean to you? I mean, hearing it from a 3-time state champion, who has a better view of it than you do?
I think a huge word for Porter Pride is like unity. And I remember with the track team, I mean, everyone was friends with each other. Everybody messed around with each other and had a fun time. And I think really too was fun. Track was my favorite moment of the day. And just being a Porter on side of that made it just as more memorable. And
Coach Shields, you coached at Lockport, and then you stepped away for a little bit, and then you came back. What do you think about Porter track and field makes it a unique and special experience?
I think we have a really good coaching staff, and we get good athletes, and I think that our Coach Hespel being one of the outstanding coaches, coaching the hurdles. But
there's always a weak link.
No. But anyway, I really do think that as a team we tend to get along, and I know that, just the other thing I don't think John gets enough credit for is he was a really good teammate. Like, he tried to help the other guys get better, and he never was, like, oh, I'm John Meyer stud.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's guys that threw with him at Lockport, him and they still come back and lift in the off season together, and so I just think that the whole atmosphere of the team is in general has been really good for the last 6 or 7 years since I came back, and it was good before that too. But I don't know if that's the case on all the teams. But I think that's what stands out to me.
Yeah. Takara, we think any other parting thoughts for Coach Shields or John?
No, geez, it just was awesome just getting to hear some insight from all that success, and like I said, beyond impressive high school career stats, but awesome to hear that the success is continuing at University of Michigan and in the Big Ten, some great competition there, just like you had at Lockport. So I wish you nothing but the best, and obviously Coach Shields, looking forward to some continued success at the track at Lockport. So go Porters, and more importantly, go Blue.
There you go. Thank you.
Coach Shields, always a pleasure to see you. John, always great to connect. Glad that you're doing well. Thanks to both of you for popping on for a few minutes to talk Porter track. It's always fun, especially means a lot to me since I am a part of it. It's just great to be able to relive some memories with you guys. So appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon, though.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
There you have it. That is a absolute legend, John Meyer of the University of Michigan, all-time state record holder in Illinois in the shot put. Incredible career. He's off to a great start at Michigan. Obviously, his season was cut short due to COVID last year, but he was on pace to be a national qualifier as a redshirt freshman. So you might see him throwing in the Olympic trials one day for a chance to go to the Olympics. So big-time athlete there.
Yeah, no, that was obviously great to hear from him and all his success. I think my favorite part of that episode was just the mutual respect there between, John and Coach Shields. And I think that trust that he had in his coach allowed him to be successful. But then, obviously that relationship between the two, we understand, being coaches ourselves, how important that trust and confidence is between players and coaches. But it was just really good to hear both of them kind of sing each other's praises. So I thought that was pretty cool. And
I mean, how humble of an athlete is John? 3-time state champion, 3 times. You're only in high school for 4 years. Yeah. And he was the best in the state as a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. That's incredible. And I mean, if anyone deserves to be cocky, I think arguably the best high school career of any person who's ever gone to Lockport High School in the 125 years the school's existed. Yeah. So, I mean, and all I want to talk about is how much Wally did, Coach Shields did. Like, there you go. That's why the guy's so great. So, well, we got to bring on our second guy. Again, another legend, a guy who would be the best track and field athlete in almost any school in the state of Illinois in their history. Has had an amazing career, has gone on to do great things in college. We're going to be right back with the one and only Derrius Rodgers. Well, we are joined with yet another Lockport legend here on this Track Decade Series episode, Coach DeCare. We have a very special guest. So to introduce this legend of Lockport, let me read the biographical features that the research department compiled. We're welcoming Derrius Rodgers, class of 2016. Derrius was a 5-time All-State sprinter for the Porters, including a pair of runner-up finishes in both the 100 and 200-meter dash as a senior. Derrius is the LTHS school record holder in the 60, the 100, and the 200, and as a member of the 4x200-meter relay. He was also a member of the LTHS football team for 4 years. After graduating Lockport, he attended Illinois State, where he was a 2-time NCAA All-American in the 60-meter dash. After his sophomore year, he transferred to Texas Tech, where he was a member of the NCAA National Championship team as a Red Raider in 2019. He was also first-team All-Big 12 in the 60 and 200 meters indoors. His personal records are 6.60 in the 60, 10.42 in the 100, and 20.89 in the 200. Derrius Rodgers joining us here, Lockport legend. Derrius, what's going on, man?
Nothing. It's good, man. It's second time BR actually, but I'm happy. I'm more than happy to chop it up with y'all again. It's always good to talk to y'all, man.
Yeah, the first one was just too good. We felt bad for all our other guests, so we had to pretend it didn't work and reshoot here.
A couple months later.
So I guess I should explain for everyone that's listening. We recorded with Derrius back in the summer, and something happened to the file. It was just so good that Zoom actually confiscated the interview used for their own benefit, and so it's lost in the cloud somewhere. And so here we are in take 2 with Derrius Rodgers.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if ESPN got a hold of that. They're sitting on it right now, and it'll be a 30 for 30.
Yes. Yes, 30 for 30.
Yeah, let's do it.
Derrius,
boy.
good to see you, man. Again. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like I said, it's always good to talk to y'all. I just finally graduated with my bachelor's degree in communications studies here at Texas Tech, and that was actually this past Saturday, December 12th. Currently right now I'm just training for this upcoming 2021 season. I'll actually be running a few meets indoor unattached. I won't, because I don't have eligibility for indoor, but I do have it for outdoor. But I'll be running a couple meets indoor, so kind of just focused on training right now and, just trying to stay healthy.
Yeah, congratulations on graduation. Saw that. In honor of that, I have my Texas Tech track and field shirt here.
Oh, yeah.
Red Raiders shirt on. It's too cold in
Yes,
my
sir.
basement. I didn't want to.
Right.
You don't see me complaining. I'm braving the cold down here.
So
everything's good.
It's good to have you, man. We want to talk about – this is our decade series. We went over this last time, but we're talking about the best teams and the best athletes in the past decade at Lockport, and this episode's on track. And we've already highlighted the unbelievable track decade we had. We've already interviewed another legend, John Meyer, along with Coach Wally Shields. And so now we want to, get the perspective of another epic piece of those teams in the middle of the decade. So that's what we're here to talk about.
Cool. Focusing mainly on 2016, right? That last year I was.
Yeah, we're going to talk about 2016. That's we've named that with actually the committee, the decade
Podcast Decade Committee.
Yes. The 2016 team as the team of the decade.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. That's a huge honor right there.
One of the biggest ones you've ever received, I know.
Literally.
So let's just start off with it was a great season. We finished 6th place in the state. We had let's see, 5. Looks like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 school record holders on that team. 9 state qualifiers, 13 all-sectional performers. We had a great team. So what do you remember about the 2016 season and the 2016 team?
Man, it was a lot of fun. For starters, just being around the guys, being around, the coaching staff. Track was definitely a different feel. Like I'd say around that time than football as far as programs. Like it was a different feel. So I enjoyed both, but that was a special year. I would say the biggest thing I took from that year was just the fact that I really bought into you guys and what you were saying. And of course, at the time, being that young, it's hard to buy into certain things and truly like believe that you should be a certain place or believe in your coaches really. But I realized that y'all had an agenda, you guys, when it came to like sectionals and state and like a vision. And I thought I was like, man, if they're this serious about it, I got to be this serious about it too. And you guys really, like I said, really instilled that in us early on that we were a special team. We were able to get down to state and achieve a lot of goals. And like I said, state was crazy just because it was one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen my senior year, especially, down at Eastern. So it was a lot of fun, and you guys really instilled that dog in me and in my teammates. So I really appreciate that, and that year just changed everything for me athletically and, got me to where I am now, really. So I'm always thankful for the year that we had, in 2016.
Yeah, so, just to echo what Coach Espel said, congrats on graduating. It's always great to see you guys succeeding after you graduate. Keep tabs on all the good stuff you're doing, but, nothing more special than seeing you guys go on and do good things like, graduate from college. That's awesome, and all your success on the track there at Texas Tech. So, hats off to you, Doc. But yeah, with all the success there in 2016 on the track, what about kind of off the track with that team? What were some of I know you guys were pretty close. We see the newsletter that gets sent out. It looks like you guys have a lot of fun. So what were some of your top memories kind of, off the track there with the team?
I'd say we all were pretty close. And I think that even though I feel like as a team, we didn't have we had the high scores in certain events, but we had a lot of people that just really took on their role, and man, my guys, they meant everything to me. And off the track, we just really bonded well. I'd say one of my best memories was probably, just traveling with the team. When we took our team to state and the people we had, it was like a perfect group of support, and we had a lot of fun off the track. We going out to eat and stuff like that, and it was really cool to be in the dorms, because we were in high school, so it was we never really got to see what college life was like. But going to EIU and staying in the dorms, that was pretty cool. We knew we were there to run, but we definitely had fun just hanging out. In that college setting. So that year off the track was just as important, from a bonding and team chemistry standpoint, as it was on the track.
And did you, can you think back to some of the meets, what meets stand out? Do you have any favorite meets or those kind of moments from throughout that season?
Yeah, I'd say specifically Bill Jackson at home. That was probably, that was the turning point in my young track career. When I was able to drop those times in the 100 and the 200, and actually I think I broke the 100 and the 200 school record that weekend. And it was, of course, held by Coach Beach. The 200 was at the time.
We'll get back to him in just a minute.
Yeah, we'll get back to him. But that meet was it was a lot of fun. It was a good feel. I'm pretty sure it was a Friday night, and It was just, we had good weather. We were able to wear our new uniforms we got that year, and we got the job done. It was fun being at home and being able to compete in front of our fans at a high level meet like that. A legendary meet, and having my family there and stuff to support as well. So that was my most fun that I had that year from a specific meet.
And let's talk about some of the guys on the team. So two things, well, three, I guess I want to bring up. The 4x2 relay. So why don't you start with them? Talk about your guys there. What that was like running with them.
We had, okay, so I forget exactly who was on the one we broke the school record.
So the school record one was Chris Gargano, Sheldon Snap, Jesse Mustami, and you.
Okay, yeah, Jesse. It was Jesse. So Jesse ended up filling a huge role because I know we had a couple relay changes during that year. We were trying to find the best one, because that 4x2 was our strongest relay. And, we had a decent 4x1, but it was definitely the 4x2. And those guys, man, they worked hard. Chris, Sheldon, and Jesse all really wanted to place high, place high at state. We all kind of had those goals, and they weren't afraid. Those guys, they stepped out there and they did their thing. But we had a pretty good year overall, I'd say, with the relays, and we continued to build that chemistry between one another. But I was extremely proud of those guys for being. They worked hard, and they pushed me in practice. We pushed each other. It was always competitive, and we could not have done a lot of things without those guys. So credit to those guys for sure.
And then the second person I want to bring up is obviously John Meyer. And
Right.
I mean, the explosion, because that was his sophomore year.
It was a sophomore year.
He exploded out of nowhere. I mean, not out of nowhere, but just went from a state quality shot putter to the best in the state. And obviously we've seen what he's done since then. So talk a minute about him.
John is incredible talent. And I actually knew, of course, John went to the same middle school as me, and I have a good relationship with his family. So I've known John for a while. And I was able to see some of the things he did in middle school, which was kind of man, we got to watch out for this kid when he gets to high school. But yeah, it was his sophomore year, and man, he was lighting it up. And that's when I realized, man, this kid he's going to be special. He's going to get the best, the best recruit. He's going to have all that. I just know it because he stepped in that sophomore year as he was young, but he's competing with these top little seniors, and, he's beating them. So it's that guy, I wish I had that confidence as a young freshman, sophomore in the track world that he had, because he really didn't believe that anyone could beat him, and they struggled to do so. So he's an incredibly hard worker, and I definitely always look out for John to see what he's up to, because he's just a good talent.
And then the last one I want to talk about before I let Dakar ask you some stuff. How about Wade Walder? So people don't realize, I don't think,
right.
Little Wade came in as a freshman as this just hard-working, skinny kid. Didn't even want to do track. Didn't know anything about track. Got to remind Coach Razo, another one of my recruits, Wade Walder.
Of course.
Played basketball, talked him into coming out, and just fell in love with pole vaulting first, and then hurdling, and then jumping. And the last time we had an outdoor season, he was a NCAA Division I All-American at Butler University in the decathlon. Now he's at Michigan State. But, that's an incredible story.
Yeah, it is incredible. And, like I say, Wayne was one of those guys where when we both got to high school, it was someone I viewed as a training partner in so many ways, especially for basketball. We always matched up pretty well. And I just remember, even in middle school playing against him, I just remember he was an aggressive, just hard worker, But Wayne is just what he's been able to do from high school to now is just unreal. And it truly shows that, if you commit yourself to something and you put in the work, that you can be great at it. And I was so happy to see what he did at Butler, man. I was like, man, this dude is a beast. He came in not really, not having a lot of track experience in that, area of doing all these events. And then he goes and he continues to, you see he get better each meet, and at indoor conference, he was lighting it up. And I'm like, man, this guy, he's rolling now. So it's by outdoor, he did his thing. And, man, I really do appreciate Wade and all the hard work that he puts in.
You know what else it shows the value of, Derrius? Having a great basketball.
listening to you. Facts, man. Facts.
Dakar, what do you got?
Do I get a turn now?
You can join me.
I was starting to feel like I was a little left out. I know I don't coach track. I didn't run track, but come on now.
Hey, you still my coach. You coach me in football, dog.
Yeah, we'll get to that at a later time here. But no, you mentioned you talked about Coach Beach a little bit and breaking his record. Why don't you talk a little bit about your relationship with Coach Beach? I know you guys were really close. All of his athletes, we obviously know, Beach from teaching with them, and, Hespel knows him from school and whatnot. But talk to us a little bit about him as a coach, that relationship, and how that really pushed you to succeed.
Yeah, so, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but Coach Beach was my freshman year DB coach. And that was the first time I'd actually been coached by him, because I didn't do track my freshman year.
Another topic we're going to come back to in a couple minutes.
It's almost like you've done this interview before.
But like I said, he that was the first time, and he just always told us that his DBs need to be the hardest workers, and that's something that stuck with me. And he was just a cool, very humble guy. And when I finally did come up for track, obviously he became the most important person in my life when it came to track and field at that moment. He did a phenomenal job with me, and I have to give him so much credit because he really did instill in me, the confidence and the ability to do what I can do, because I trusted him. I fully trusted him, an easy guy to trust. And, when you work hard with a coach like that, you want to do well for him. Obviously you want to do well for yourself, but you want to do well for a guy like him. And, he's just a very humble guy. So it was honestly an honor being able to break, the records that he held, because he coached me to breaking those records. So that was a moment, that Bill Jackson meet was just a huge moment for both of us. And, I still chop it up with him every now and then. And, our relationship's great even today. So he knows, I feel like he knows what I can do, and I know what I can do. And it's time to finally put the last bit on, it's time to roll it out, but Beach knows what I'm talking about. But he's a great mentor for me, and overall a great guy, just a likable person.
And those school records you set, I should state them one more time. In the 100-meter dash, it's 10.60 seconds. And in the 200, it's 21.42. Those are your high school records. So.
Held by Beach, now held by Derrius Rodgers.
Which is cool, man. I'm so I was happy to do that, just because our relationship. But very happy with our relationship and what we were able to do in that small time frame at Lockport. So I won't ever forget that.
Derrius also played football. You want to talk about that?
Yeah,
I did.
You didn't get to break any of my records, so we don't.
Nah, I did not. Nah, not a chance.
They wouldn't have been very hard to break. No, but yeah, obviously, I know you more from the football aspect, and obviously just an incredible talent, both on the football field and then obviously, with all those accolades in track. But, that's something you don't see a ton in a lot of athletes anymore these days, where they're playing multiple sports. There's so much specialization. So being, a football player in the fall, and then doing, track and field and indoor season, and then obviously outdoor season in the spring. Why don't you talk a little bit about, being a two-sport athlete, does that translate a lot from what you do in football to track, and then vice versa? How does that kind of work?
Yeah. So being a two-sport athlete, in high school, it kept me busy. It kept me busy for one. I wanted to be three-sport, but, basketball didn't necessarily work out for me, and I'm okay with that. But man, but football and track go hand in hand. And as a young athlete, that was something I had to learn, because of course we all know I was all football. That was it. That was my tunnel vision. I had football. I didn't want to do track. But again, I bought in track, and I was able to see the results quickly. I was able to see that speed, display some of that speed on the field, whether it was at wide receiver or defensive back. And just in general, I'd say that nowadays, you talk about these young athletes not doing multiple sports, but these college coaches, man, that's what they're looking for now. When it comes to any sport, especially football, they want to know if a guy ran track. They want their guys to be throwers. They want them to be sprinters, jumpers, whatever they can, just because they know how much of an impact track and field has on every sport. And of course, as young athletes, it's tough to commit to track and field, because some people might view it as, in general, like a chore. You got to run, and nobody wants to run all the time. But young athletes, I think, in general, should do multiple sports, not just track and field. They have, wrestling, wrestling, football, whatever combination you can come up with. If you like doing multiple sports, do it. I think it helps you, on the football field. It helped me in my track, and football helped me in track. I was able to bring that mentality that I had to football later, and I was able to apply it in track, because I always viewed football as like a very aggressive, just a team sport, but it was competitive. And I had to realize that I had to bring that same mentality that I had for football to track. And once I did that, I was able to excel on the track as well. So it was good.
So let's tell a story about Derrius Rodgers, the multi-sport athlete, because I distinctly remember Derrius freshman year. Basketball season was over, and I was down in the cafeteria doing who knows what, probably seeking you out, and you were down there eating lunch. And I was like, hey, come here. And I said, I think you need to run track. And you and hard, and you didn't end up coming out. And then, thankfully, sophomore year, you did come out. So I'm going to tell Razo that I deserve partial credit for the recruitment of Derrius Rodgers as well when next time he gives me a hard time. But, hey, listen, I mean, maybe I was just predicting the future, but I think I was right.
He was right. I remember, man, I was so mad at you when you told me you were like, I think track can be your best sport. Oh, I was so mad. I'm like, man, football is my best sport, man. But you had a big part of that. You had a big part of recruiting me to track, man. And I'd say, like, I don't regret anything, the path I took to get to the track, man, and I appreciate you applying that pressure because he let me hear it all the time, trust me, during basketball season, that I need to be a track. And he thought I was lazy.
No, you're right, though, but I mean, it probably made you, like, appreciate it more once you decided.
Yeah.
So that's good. What do you think, Takir? What else?
Why don't you talk to us, just going back to the bio Hasbro read at the beginning, just amazing some of the accomplishments. But why don't you talk to us a little bit about what it's like to be an all-state athlete? What did you ever feel any pressure, from season to season as you started to accomplish more and more goals, or what was that experience like? Because not all of us were talented and gifted enough to be. It might surprise you, but we weren't athletes.
At least 1/3 of us here were.
Man, it was interesting. I as I became a true, or not necessarily in high school, but in high school, I took it from just running track to being a track athlete, and it took me some time to grow as a true track athlete, just like it did as a football player. But as time went on, after my sophomore year, I was winning a lot of freshman, sophomore meets, but I was able to compete with the varsity guys a lot too. They always had me doing both meets, so that was cool. It's just like after my junior year, when I did make it to state, and I was able to place my junior year, after that I truly believed in everything. It was like, man, I guess this thing is for me after all, and it's time to dedicate myself, because at that point when I got that close and felt what it was like, I'm like, well, now I want to win. I wanted to win, and that's all I could think about, and I continued to work for that. I wanted to be a state champion, and we were off to a great start that senior year indoor meet at Top Times when I was able to win the 60, and that meet was that was also one of the biggest moments, I'd say, in my high school career and track career in general. That truly instilled a different level of confidence and just love for the sport. That thrill I got. So of course being successful helped with certain things, but the hard work that paid off, that is what I'm most proud of, rather than just the accolades.
Now you're a Texas Tech Red Raider. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what it's like being a college athlete at the highest level, part of a national championship team. So obviously not just at a big university in a great conference, but one of the best teams in the country. What's that experience like as an athlete? Share some of that.
Yeah, so Tech is, in general, even before I get to the athletic side, I just absolutely love the university, truly, and the staff, and and compliance, and athletic director, from top to bottom, everyone's just they truly care about your best interests here. So I'm really happy with the decision I made, and it made me really want to get my degree from here, and I'm very proud of my degree. Truly, just being able to get it from Texas Tech. But as far as athletics, it definitely is the top. It is the highest level. We have top-notch facilities. They take care of us pretty well. We get fed. We get to travel pretty much anywhere. But the biggest attraction for us is our indoor track facility, and it is fast. It's a fast track in general, and we produce pretty good meets. It's a lot of fun, I'd say. Being a Division I athlete, especially being one here, you get the full experience. A lot of different sports that are going to be good. When you go to a school like Texas Tech, or really any Power 5 school, you'll have a lot of different sports to support. So it's always good to see basketball, make a run at the national title, or the baseball teams getting fourth at national, or, you know what I mean. So, and then of course we won that year. So it was just that year specifically in 2019, yeah, 2018, 2019. That year specifically for athletics was just unreal here at Tech, because those three sports in particular. Because before we won, Texas Tech has never had a men's program in general win a national title. So the track team was the first to deliver that. And we almost had basketball that same year and baseballs, but they came up just short. But we were proud to have that year. It was great. It was just great, and of course we were proud as a track team to bring the first one to Texas Tech and to Lubbock, and this community and these people. They deserve it, and we love putting on for Lubbock and Tech. So it's a lot of fun being here.
Yeah, so obviously being a college athlete, I'm sure you and also ran track at ISU, before transferring to Texas Tech. But this obviously this Pride podcast, Porter Pridecast is all about Porter Pride. So if you reflect back on your time as a Porter, what would you say is the number one thing that kind of helped you get to where you're at, or a lesson that you really brought with you to the point where you're at today?
Lockport did a lot for me, man, and I always say they did a phenomenal job preparing me for college, and not just the coaches but the teachers. It was fun. I just had fun at Lockport, but specifically I would say the athletic program is dominant, and that's one thing. I feel like nowadays, or during my time, we didn't always get that respect. I know sometimes in the past we have for football, but I felt like really Lockport in every sport was just so dominant, so deep, especially during my 4 years, whether it was on varsity or whether when I was a freshman, whenever. But Lockport is just very dominant, and the coaches, that's the biggest thing for me to put me in my position. Every coach that I came across, whether it was in track or football, was a lesson for me. I learned a lot from every coach that I've had, and mainly though, I would just say that the coaches, the culture in general, prepared me to be this athlete. I feel like we build champions at Lockport, and champions not only during when you're in high school, but champions for the rest of your life, man. Whether it's in sports or anything, and I truly feel like coming from Lockport, it has guided me here, and now I'm just even being from here has taken me to another level in life. So I mean, I'm just so thankful to be able to graduate from Lockport and go through the experiences and the sports that I had there as well. So I mean, I always have Porter Pride, and it means everything to me.
Speaking of Porter Pride, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. We've been asking people this: if you could sum up Porter Pride in just one word, what one word would you choose that best represents what Porter Pride stands for in your mind?
Loyalty. I would say loyalty. I just feel like I just had so much security, from my coaching staff, from my teachers. I just feel like everyone you guys just truly wanted to see these kids do well in life, not just, in sports, but y'all wanted the best from us. That's all you guys did. And no matter what, you guys are always there for me personally. And so I would say loyalty, because y'all remain loyal to me as I remain loyal to y'all. It made me want to be who I am. It made me want to be a better person in general. So that's what I would say for Porter Pride. That's the word I would use.
Karen, what do you think? Anything else?
No, I was gonna say, interesting choice of words there. If you don't know, Derrius played defensive back, tried to infiltrate the wide receiver. We know where his true loyalty was. He brought all the secrets back to the dark side, and
man, I'm trying to use my speed somehow at the wide receiver position, man.
No, but like you said, obviously very kind words, and yeah, it's like we said at the beginning, it's awesome to see you guys go on and obviously have success in your sport, but more importantly, in life, like you mentioned. So getting your degree, that's awesome. So it's great to get to talk to you again. I selfishly, I'd say Zoom, it's okay if you mess this one up, we'll bring it back, third time's a charm. It's just great to see you doing well, and wish you obviously nothing but luck moving forward here.
I appreciate that, man. That shirt looks good on you too.
Yeah.
It's about time something looked good on you, DeCare. Derrius, man, we appreciate you not only taking the time tonight, but taking the time for the second time to talk to us. You are truly a legend, and we are so proud of who you are as a person and as an athlete, and how well you represent Lockport in the community across the country. Best of luck to you here as you embark on your final collegiate track and field season. Break some more records, run fast. Fully intend on being able to come out to Eugene, Oregon in the summer to check you, Johnny Meyer out. So best of luck to you. And again, thanks for popping on here to talk to us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, man. I appreciate this, and we can do it again if y'all want. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta ask. You ain't gotta lie this time. Well, all right, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right, thanks. That's Derrius Rodgers, everybody. Oh man, Derrius Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen, a true character, one of my favorites. Just an awesome guy and an incredible athlete. Great to have him on. Great to catch up. Unreal career in high school, and has gone on to be an All-American at Illinois State and a national champion at Texas Tech, and another guy that, making waves for himself on the national stage.
Yeah, and also, throw in obviously the recent graduate from Texas Tech. So awesome, all those accomplishments on the track are obviously amazing and great, but the success of getting a degree, doing what he wants to do, and setting himself up for the rest of his life is great to hear. But yeah, that was awesome interview. It was so great. Got to do it twice. Better the second. No, but it was always great to talk to guys like Derrius, like you said. Just a great kid, awesome personality. So glad to hear he's doing well. Obviously, you knew him from – this is obviously about track. You know him from coaching him in track. I, have the football perspective, but, even though he played on the wrong side of the ball, and my guys had to embarrass him all the time. Just a great athlete, both in football and track, and that success is going to follow him, in whatever he decides to do. So his continued career, and then – on the track, and then, once that's done with his communication. So,
well, let's tie a bow on this episode, because boys track decade was incredible. One of the best in the school's history for any sport. Just an amazing amount of success. I coached through the whole decade. I was lucky to be a part of it. But going back and just looking through some of the numbers, it's just even more amazing when you think back to just how good some of these guys did over the course of the decade in so many different event groups. We covered a couple of them here. So that was great to relive the 2016
team of the decade for boys track and field that finished sixth place in state, and the the athlete of the decade, John Meyer, 3-time state champion, along with legendary school record holder Derrius Rodgers. So final thoughts on the track decade?
No, just obviously, like you said, you had firsthand knowledge. Obviously, I've been at I've been working at Lockport this whole decade, but you're a coach on the track team, so you were there. But just hearing that bio in those stats, just amazing. I think again, just hats off to to Coach Razo, like you mentioned, the consistency, I would say, of the track program, and obviously getting to hear from Coach Shields. You gave a shout out to Coach Beach. Obviously, Derrius, talked about how influential Beach was with him, but your entire staff. So obviously yourself, I think that really, with the amazing talent that you guys had, has really allowed you guys to be so successful. So yeah, it was great to hear from I guess all three of our guests, obviously John and Wally, and then obviously Derrius. But like I'm sure you are, I'm sure you're looking for another successful decade coming up here with track and field.
Yeah, and it's fun to cover it because it's a sport that kind of goes under the radar sometimes. Not one of the premier sports, but people I think maybe miss just how good the decade's been. So it's fun to cover that. And we might as well put a bow on the year of 2020 here. So like we said, we're at the end of 2020, getting ready for 2021 here. We're 22 episodes into this thing, and no plans on slowing down, only trying to ramp it up. So we appreciate all of you who have listened along for this whole year, and hopefully you stick with us and spread the word and share it, and we can keep bringing you Porter Pride from everywhere.
Yeah, obviously 2020 will go down in the record books, probably not for the right reasons, but think of it this way: on a positive note of this year, it brought you the Porter Pridecast, and we're not going away. Hopefully some other things in this world go away quickly, but we're looking forward to starting a new year, 2021, big things, but really just continuing to highlight Porter Pride, both past, present, so many good things going on, so I'm really looking forward to continue this.
And don't forget to share this with people that you know. You can find it on YouTube and anywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the other podcast platforms. And share it, review it, subscribe, click the subscribe button. It definitely helps us out. And make sure you tell your friends, your neighbors, your fellow Lockport alums, Porter Pride fans around the globe, that no one
talks Porters like we talk Porters.
That's right. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2021 with our next episode. Go Porters.
Go Porters.
You are listening to the Porter Pridecast, your home for the Lockport Porters on the airwaves. If you're looking for all the latest news and behind-the-scenes conversations about Lockport Township High School, then you're in the right place. Welcome into the Porter Pridecast. No one talks Porters like we talk Porters.
Hey, listeners. This is Brett Hespel of the Porter Pridecast. Just wanted to thank you for joining the show, but we also want to make sure you follow along. So here's our other host, Adam DeCare. We'll talk about where you can follow us.
Yeah, again, thanks for logging in, giving us a listen. Make sure to follow us on all your social media needs on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us at Porter Pridecast for both. So give us a like, give us a retweet, spread the word, tell all your friends, tell all your followers, like both those accounts, and keep on coming back.
And you can get the show, you can get our podcast wherever you find your podcasts. And you could also check out Porter Pridecast TV on YouTube. Just search Porter Pridecast on both, and you'll be able to come up with them. So make sure you subscribe to both of those channels so you can get all the episodes when they come out.
Don't forget to leave us those reviews, preferably 5 stars, and keep spreading the word. Go Porters.
Go Porters.